So we're back in the empty nest today with more tips and thoughts on how to ease your way through it. Welcome to Happy Stuff and Fluff, a channel for women over 50 who are getting happy and growing younger. So this is the second video in a mini-series talking about the empty nest syndrome. I'll leave a link to the first video here. In that video I talked about the fact that I have 3 grown-up children now who all left for university within kind of 18 months of each other, and although I was intellectually prepared for it, it hit me like a freight train at speed. And I struggled with it for quite some time. I do public speaking. Oh, and incidentally, if you live in England and you belong to a group of women over 50, particularly if you live in the northwest of England, I'm available to come and speak to your group about happy stuff and fluff. My email address is in the About section of the video. I'd look forward to hearing from you. Okay, so it was at one of these speeches I was giving to a group of women that was not about empty nest, it was about something entirely different, but I happened to mention that I was struggling with empty nest a little bit. All the women who came to talk to me afterwards came to talk about their struggles with empty nest. And so, I realised, actually, this is a big thing. This is not something to be jokey about for lots of women. For lots of women, it's absolute anguish they feel when their last child goes off to university. And if you happen to be a single parent, perhaps with your only child going off to university, that must be even more difficult, and my heart goes out to you. The experience is different for everyone, obviously, but I would say to you, if you are a single parent like that, very difficult, but I would say to you what I'm going to say to everybody else with reference to this. First of all, I talked in that video about resisting the urge to phone your child 3 times a day when they've left for university. Well, how did you go on? You've had a first term now as an empty nester. I hope you managed to resist phoning them every day. But yeah, you've had the first term now. Presumably they came home for the Christmas holidays. You might have a child who's still with you, because I know lots of terms don't start until February this term. But they may well have left, and when you've had them back home and just got used to that, now you're having to say goodbye to them again, and they're going off again. So you're feeling that sadness yet again. Well, unfortunately, I have to say to you, you are going to feel sad. If it's worse than that, if it's like a really deep anguish, as I say, that's okay too. I think what you have to do is talk about it, especially talk about it with your partner. And I'll talk more about couples, relationships and this situation in a second. But you do need to talk to your partner about it and tell them exactly how you're feeling. They are not mind readers, and neither are you, incidentally, so your partner may also be feeling this. I know that men go through the empty nest too, but as this is a channel for women, my conversation is to you. So I do know that. But if you've been a mum for 20 odd years, especially if you've been a stay-at-home mum and your children have been your only focus and now they're gone, then you are going to feel lost for a length of time. Don't beat yourself up about this. It is perfectly normal. Lots of women feel the same. I'm one of them. It's perfectly normal to feel that. What we have to do now is, and I'm sure you've asked yourself this question, what happens now? What do I do next? What do you do next for you as an individual? And what do you do next for you and your partner as a couple and your relationship? So these are thoughts that you have to give some attention to and some discussion to. If if your child isn't leaving till September this year coming, then you've got time to prepare and ask yourself these questions before it happens. If your child has not yet left for university, then please watch this video, the first one of the series. Going back to not phoning your child 3 times a day, a couple of funny stories actually. One, someone said to me recently that they had phoned their son 3 times, 4 times and had no response. And so she texted him to say, right, okay, I've tried to contact you, I've had no response, I'm now phoning the police. You could be lying dead somewhere and I wouldn't know about it. Well, of course, within seconds he texted her back, which made me laugh. Of course, you can't pull that one every time, but a bit of a drastic thing to do, but it worked. He contacted her and presumably will know next time he must not wait till she's phoned 2 or 3 times before he gets back to her. And incidentally, I lectured for 7 or 8 years, and so I've kind of seen this from both sides. And there must be thousands of mums out there who ought to thank me for this, but they don't know about it. I used to talk to my students when I first met them about the 3 F's for freshers. So the first was freshers flu. They're going to get it because they are, all of a sudden in an environment with lots of people all the time. I used to say take extra vitamins, and I used to take extra vitamins. Imagine you have 100 students in front of you all breathing germs this way towards you, and so I was always prepared for that. So I mentioned that to them. Freshers flu, freshers 5, which is the 5 pounds in weight they're going to be putting on through all the extra partying. Now, saying that to them hopefully made them aware of it and possibly had an influence in limiting their partying a little bit. Who knows? But this next one, the last F was freshers phone home, which I used to say to them regularly, phone home, not just when you want something, but to tell your parents about what university life is like and about what you're up to. They will appreciate it. And I used to say that to them all the time. All these mums, thanks to me. Perhaps I'll get my reward in heaven. Anyway, I did my bit. So the other thing, which is funny, from the last video, one of our subscribers alerted me to an article. I think I'll try and link it down below this one, where I think it's Japanese women actually pitch a tent in the university gym. They move their home into a tent, the university gym where their child is, so that if they need them, they can pop along to the gym and see their mum. No, no, no. The big positive about this is you've done such a great job with your child that they are off out into the world learning to be independent. You are there to help them grow, not hinder their growth, which I think that's what that would be if you pitched a tent outside. I think that's taking a bit too far. You've got to focus on how well you've done, that your child is on the first step to becoming an independent person. The other thing is, if you think to yourself, oh, who am I now? I'm having identity issues. I've lost my identity. No, you haven't. You are always going to be their mum. It's just going to change a little bit. Trust me, they are always going to need you long after they've left university. So let's put that one to bed. They need you now and forevermore. So there's that. What I would say, especially if you've been a stay-at-home mum, maybe now is the time to get a part-time job. You need something else to take your focus away from the sadness and the loneliness and the empty feeling that you might be feeling. So perhaps a part-time job. If you don't want to do that, look at volunteering. There's all kinds of different ways you can volunteer. I volunteer at the local art gallery, so you don't have to be doing like a Mother Teresa kind of thing, although obviously it would be nice if you did. But there are lots of other things you can do to volunteer, and as I'm always saying, the quickest, easiest way to increase your own well-being is to help someone else. So give that some thought. And then if you do feel that you're on your own with it, then get online and have a look for some clubs or Facebook groups. They will exist, the women who are either over 50 and struggling with empty nest, just so that you know you are not on your own. So stop beating yourself up about that, because you're not on your own with these feelings. As I say, it's perfectly natural to feel them. But what we want to do is to help you to ease your way through it. And talking about it with your partner especially, and with your friends. You may have friends of similar ages. Ask them how they dealt with it. Don't sit with it on your own, I think is what I'm saying. And then start this new life, exciting new life, where you can discover things that you would now like to do that, don't necessarily revolve around your kids. The couples thing, it can be a tricky one, this, because, this grey divorce term that they use, it's increasing that people get divorced or split up at this stage. Obviously, it's not a time for making big decisions when you're feeling so emotionally turned upside down. Take a step back. Talk to your partner beforehand. Talk to him now. I think that's the way to get through everything, is to talk about how you're feeling and talk about how you can move forward together as a couple. I could go on forever. I need to stop because I want to value your time. If you want me to do more on this, if you want me to talk especially about couples, please let me know. Also let me know how you've gone on first term as an empty nester. And just as a final word, let me say to you, it gets better. I promise you. Okay, I'll see you soon, and until then, remember that on the Happy Stuff and Fluff, we're getting happy and growing younger. See you soon. Bye-bye.